Salute. How y'all doing? My name is DerrickCWilliams. I want to tell you an American story, a Black American story, a story of ascension and of ultimate failure, a story of sex, a story of greed, a story of lust, a story of corruption. All the things that make my country great. I love my country, the US of A. The title of this presentation will be called If Loving You Is Wrong, and I'm just one man. In the comment section on YouTube, I want to introduce to you disgraced former mayor of Detroit, Michigan, Kwame Kilpatrick. He had a sexual affair with his on-the-low high school sweetheart and chief of staff, Beatty. And one of the text messages that caught my attention when they came to light was Beatty sent Kilpatrick a text that simply said, "We were together last night and it was magical. Are you going to see me again soon?" And Kilpatrick replied in capital letters via text, "Hell yeah." At the tender age of 31 years old, Kilpatrick was the youngest mayor in Detroit history, but he's also referred to as the hip hop mayor. That's where I come in. I heard of this guy around 2003 or so. And once I heard that moniker that was given to him, that's the reason why I started following him. I have family in Detroit, Michigan, and I love Motown. But I want to present this story to you now. I've always wanted to put it on my YouTube channel. All y'all take care. Greenville, Mississippi till I die.
Kwame Kilpatrick may be behind bars, but he isn't staying quiet. Tonight we take you inside the liaison that ultimately toppled his regime, and his mistress is also opening up with insights from a tumultuous time in the city.
There was always the guilt and this is wrong thing. Oh, but it does feel it feels so right, but it's so wrong.
Brand new interviews with a national podcast are illuminating new truths in the scandal that shook Detroit.
Tonight, Local 4 defender Kevin Dietz takes us inside the scandal.
A national podcast called Crime Town is focusing its second season on corruption in Detroit, from the Coleman Young era to the Kwame Kilpatrick era. The producers scoring exclusive new interviews. The most recent episode is called The Affair, and it has Kwame Kilpatrick, Carlita Kilpatrick, and Beatty opening up like never before. Kwame Kilpatrick was convicted of racketeering and sentenced to 28 years behind bars. Now, he's suddenly speaking out in a lengthy podcast interview, and the former Detroit mayor and his mistress aren't holding anything back. From the first crush at Cass Tech High School.
Chris was a majorette. So I played football, so I would always notice her. You know, I liked her right offhand.
Lou and I had broken up, so we were not together. And then senior year, Kwame and I kind of liked each other, but you know, we were always hesitant.
I know she's gonna be embarrassed by this, but Christine was the no sex till marriage girl. I liked her incredibly. I was always so nervous around Chris. I didn't like anybody else like I liked her.
Congratulations. To election night, when Kwame Kilpatrick became Detroit's youngest mayor, and both he and Beatty were married to other people.
We were actually cleaning up the campaign headquarters, and we were looking at the river, overlooking everything. It kind of hit us both at the same time that we won this race. So we were laughing, we were crying, and I hugged her, and I kissed her. When I tell you, it was one of those moments, like in movies, where the moon is perfect over the Detroit River, the snow was dancing across the, you know.
It was the beginning of a torrid affair between the mayor and chief of staff.
There was always the guilt and this is wrong thing. Oh, but it does feel, it feels so right, but it's so wrong. The comfort was that he was there for me.
And while the former mayor sells his affair in the podcast as a first love romance, he also admits he was far from exclusive with his wife or Christine.
I was not, a faithful husband. I was a horrible husband. I had other affairs. This was not the only affair.
Eventually, he stopped trying to hide it from the inner circle.
Mayor goes in the house. 5 minutes later, Christine comes in the house, pulls up and goes in.
and they in there for however long they in there.
Kwame and Christine say suddenly, when their salacious text messages went public, politically motivated prosecutors in the media made them look like criminal gangsters. They insist they were incarcerated not for criminal behavior, but for a sexual affair.
How did that lead us to jail? How did an affair lead to jail?
Did I ever see myself sitting in a prison because I lied under oath about an affair? No.
Kilpatrick may be more open to discuss all of this with Crimetown's podcast producers because now he is divorced from his wife Carlita. She also spoke of those years, but with considerably more pain in her voice.
Underneath of that was a lot of hurt and a lot of anger and a lot of embarrassment. Even through all of it, there was always this belief knowing that God would pull me through this some kind of way, somehow, and that I had to be a good mother. I had to wake up and be a mom. And that's what kind of carried me through.
On March 11, 2013, Kwame Kilpatrick was convicted on 24 federal felony counts, including mail fraud, wire fraud, and racketeering. He has been in prison ever since, currently being held at Fort Dix in New Jersey, a minimum security federal prison. Kwame Kilpatrick's release date is 2037. Makes it very clear that he believes his sentence is grossly unjust, and he hopes to be pardoned early. You can listen to the entire Crimetown podcast on Spotify. Kevin Dietz, Defenders.